Hello, and welcome to the SLictionary tutorial. My name is John D. Felice, and I am the co-creator of SLictionary along with my partner John Pitts. My goal is to guide you through this app and show you how to search for word definitions, add word definitions, and how you can earn money with the site as well. More than anything, I hope you find using the site as much fun as we do. At first glance, you may notice a few things about our app that is different from other online dictionaries. Most obvious is the absence of ads. You will never see a single ad on SLictionary.com. Why? Because our revenues come from usage, as I'll explain later. You also won't see a lot of clutter. Our design goal was to keep our app looking sleek and clean, and no other dictionary will have the letter vortex. Some people meditate. I stare at the vortex to relax. A good example of our design is the Spartan aesthetic of our search page. Some have told us that it reminds them of Google search more than a dictionary. This is not an accident. SLictionary is much more similar to Google search than it is to any online dictionary you've likely used. So now that we've had this brief introduction, let's move on to logging into SLictionary and using it to perform our first word search. This button is called a money button. The price of the transaction is written on the control, so you can see that a search is less than 1 cent. But the currency of SLictionary is not USD. It is Bitcoin SV, and for that you need a BSV wallet, which MoneyButton provides. So let's do our first search. Today I overheard two physical chemists talking about something called fugacity. So let's see if we can find a definition for it. You'll notice that there's a look ahead feature, and this is a good way to see what words are in SLictionary. To us, this brings back the experience of leafing through a bound dictionary to explore and find interesting words. So I will type fugacity into the search text box and slide the money button. Okay, well, it looks like I'm not logged into money button. Money button is not only how we provide our transactions, but it is a way we authenticate our users. So I received this message. I already have an account, so let me log into money button. And I'm logged in. So let's go back here and complete our search. Looks like fugacity is not in SLictionary. This is a good opportunity, though, for us to define it ourselves, which we will do in the next slide. Okay, so let's add our word fugacity. This side panel here is for word bounty, which we'll get into later. So you just click the plus icon and you go to the add a word page. As you can see, it's a very simple interface for entering whatever data, the data that you need. We're always trying to make it easier to use. So on our list for future enhancements is rich text boxes so you can control the font size and make it look the way you want. As you can see here, free AdWords. So you've already paid. So you paid for a search. You didn't get any search results. So you're going to add a word, and we didn't want to charge you twice. So the money you spent on the search goes toward adding the word. Now, there's another way to add a word, at least one other, and that is the plus button on the search page. So if you come right here and press this, you're going to have to pay the 1 penny fee to add it. So now suppose you want to add a word like this, Now I know that sugar is already in Slictionary, so let me put sugar in here. So I put sugar in there and I tab to go to the next control. It recognizes that sugar is already in Slictionary and asks to, instead of adding a word, you're going to add your own version of sugar. So that's great. Okay, so now let's get back to fugacity. So let's just do it this way. And we're going to be back to the Lucky You page, and we're going to click this. Now, you and I both know already that fugacity is an empirically derived pressure to correct the ideal gas equation of state so that it works under real gas conditions. We both know that, but we should share it with the world, okay? Because I think only like 3 people know that. You're one of 3 people now. Anyway, so here's the word. Hide from children. So I will get into that in the next bit of this. Fugacity is a perfectly fine word. It's not vulgar or profane, anything like that. So we're not going to hide it from children. Fugacity is a noun, and I've already, um, created my in the interest of time, I already created my definitions here and my example sentence as well. The F in fugacity stands for fudge factor. That's true. Um, I'm just going to do my own thing. Fugacity. I mean, it's pretty much as uh, it sounds. All right, so for uploading an image, you can upload an image, but you can also upload um, GIFs, so little video clips. So let's do that. I found a free ideal gas law one. And when it comes to, you can see there's a monitor for upload completeness. And I've already prepared me pronouncing fugacity here. There. And you get the free ad word. Um, so why don't we go ahead and I will click on here. And there is our word. And you can see this is my pronunciation. Um, I doubt you're going to be able to hear it on here, but you can go to the site and check it out. It's my voice pronouncing fugacity. Here is the um, definition. Here it's used in the sentence. It lists the author. And I like the GIFs because, I mean, this isn't just a word definition of fugacity. This is a GIF showing basically how the ideal gas law works and the way the volume and pressure, how the volume changes with pressure, that relationship. So I just think being able to add like this kind of multimedia experience here is great for learning words. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can make money on Slictionary, and here's how you do it. Everywhere you see a light bulb is you can like it. You can like the image, you can like the definition, word usage, and you can even like the audio. Now, if there were multiple definitions here, this drop-down list would have all the authors listed who added their definitions. So okay, let me see. I'm going to like my own thing. Oh, I can't. You can't like your own content. And so suppose you came down here and you read my definition of fugacity and you're like, you know what, this is garbage. I'm gonna make my own, so I can do better. And here's where you would add your better version of fugacity. Um, okay, so fugacity only has one definition. Let me show you a word that has more. So let's go to sugar. Okay, sugar has multiple versions, and you can see them right here. What we have is a slider that you can use to just go from definition to definition. Okay, goes like that. You can also swipe. Um, there we go. You can swipe it with your mouse, and this also means that you can swipe it with your finger on um, your mobile phone of choice, iPhone for instance, um, this has multiple definitions. They're all by me. So let me go to the one definition that is not me, nitty@moneybutton.com. And what I want to show this because I you can't like your own thing. So I like this uh, definition. So I'm going to click on it. The the light bulb is kind of it illuminates when it's clicked. And what it means is this just received a vote. So if you are the author of this definition, you would receive 70% of the vote fee. So right now it's just a penny. So you would receive zero point 0.7 cents. Now that may not seem like a lot of money because it's not, but if you get two votes, you're up to 1.4 cents, which is you've at least covered the cost of adding the word to the site. But let's put things in perspective. So I wrote an article for Medium.com once, and it received 1,200 claps, which is similar to a like. Now, at a penny per clap, I would have made $12 on that article. I would kill to make $12 on a Medium article, honestly. But remember, you're not making USD, you're making Bitcoin. You're making Bitcoin SV, which very well may be worth twice it is now next year. It's certainly possible. So that $12 just turned into $24. But anyway, so yeah, so this is the the where you actually view the versions, and eventually there will be a feature where you can there will be a filter, a new view for the user, so that you can see the best definitions and all their components. So you could see the definition that had the best, the most popular image, one that the definition that received the most votes, and see them all in one view of the word. Um, okay, so that's that for voting. The next is some things we put in place to both protect children from seeing words they shouldn't be seeing, and also just to give you an example of the benefits of Slictionary as a teaching tool. All right, so let me put forth a use case, which I think is a good one. Suppose you have a 10-year-old child, and he is just a prodigy when it comes to science and stuff, and he's really keen to look up the word fugacity, the one that we just used. Okay, so he comes to the search, and he's all eager, and he types in F. You know, we see the look ahead, right? All these different words that have F in them. So far, so good. Then he types in U, and well, what he sees just above fugacity is another word that ends in CK. All right. So if a child comes to this site and very innocently is browsing words, and we present a bad word to the child, that's on us. That's on Slictionary. Uh, that's on me and John. But so what we did was when I we added the word, we saw the hide from children checkbox, and so that removes the word from the look ahead options. In other words, a child can't browse to see a word like that. They'd have to already know how to spell the word exactly and type it into here and then hit search. And if a child knows how to do that, well, that's not on us. on the child's parents or society, which would include you, dear viewer. Anyway, so I know for a fact some dirty bird put that four-letter word in Slictionary, but you can't browse to find it, which is good. Um, and this is one of 5 features we have to protect children from seeing content they shouldn't see, but also to allow adults and whoever else the complete freedom to enter whatever they want into Slictionary, because a word's a word, and yeah. So another thing is I want to show you how Slictionary can be used as a teaching tool. So my son is, even though he's only 13 years old, I already bought him a box of SAT vocabulary flashcards. You can never start too early. So I asked him to add all 500 to Slictionary. No, I asked him to just add a few one fine day. And one of the words was discordant. And he entered a definition for discordant. So here it is. If I can swipe this, there we go. Now, he did something which we encourage, which is he created an original image. Sure, you can search all over the internet to find images, and we're going to leave it up to you to make sure you don't violate copyright. If we get a nastygram from someone talking about copyright violations, we're just going to take the content down. But we encourage using, there are, Pixabay and other free image sites like that, original photography, original artwork, anything like that. So he drew his own version of what discordant is, and I think it's pretty good. It definitely gets the point across that one person is singing and it's hurting the other person's ears and they don't like it. So, and I told him, I said, you can use just any standard definition, but I want the image and I want this example sentence and I want the audio to be for you. And so he did it for discordant and then 2 other words. And a week later, I asked him what discordant meant, and he was correct. He told me what it meant. And I said, "What did you think about when I asked you that?" And he said, "I thought about the picture I drew to describe it." So for me, flashcards can't compare to doing this. To have a student entering the word themselves and picking an image, creating the usage sentence, themselves, I think is great. And another good teaching, like imagine if you're learning English as a second language. You don't have just definitions to go on. You have images, and more importantly, you can hear native born Americans pronouncing the words for you. And if it's a word like sugar or anything like that, there could be like 10 different pronunciations. I think that's very useful. Other online dictionaries, they have computer generated pronunciations. In fact, some cheeky person entered a word and they actually included a computer generated voice for their audio, which, yeah, whatever. Um, so that's that. And as as a future kind of thing, I could easily write an API that would provide all of this content, the definitions, the images, the audio as a feed to companies that deal with teaching people English. And it could be another revenue stream. So with that, let's now turn to our final part of this tutorial, which is describing word bounty. Before we go to word bounty, there's 2 other things I want to mention. In the footer, you'll see a count, a word count. So we have 362 words in Slictionary right now. So we're really at the beginning here. And the other thing is your pay mail address will be in the footer as well. And if you click on it, it shows you all the words you've defined. And eventually we'll show vote statistics here with it as well. Now to word bounty, which is my favorite part of the app. Are you a word slinger or are you yella? And we have a nice Western font here. Of course, talking about bounties, but we're not putting bounties on people's heads. We're putting bounties on words. We are paying to have other people compete with each other to come up with the best definition of a word. So you can see the word influencer here. So the list is ordered by bounty in a descending order. Most of them are a penny, which is the default. So even something, I defined flute for 10, or I put a bounty on flute for 10 cents and it went right to the top of the bounty list. So there's the bounty amount, the word, the voting status. So many of these are awaiting their first definition. You can't vote on something unless it's defined. And then you see the money button here to vote on a given word. It has the sponsors here, and it has the winner. The completed words, they go to the bottom. You can see that I had put a dollar bounty on Gondwanaland, and it was won by Instagram at moneybutton.com. So the higher the bounty, the more interest, the more votes you're going to get. The blank spaces in here right now, we're determining the winner manually. Uh, Very soon that'll be automated, so this will be always up to date. And whoever wins the bounty, of course, gets it. And then the sponsor gets their name associated uh, with the word. So now you may say, well, what are the use cases? Why would somebody want to do this? Um, One is just for the fun of it. This isn't a lot of money here, although it could be. There's no limit to the amount of money you can put a bounty on a word. Um, I put a dollar. That's considered a lot. Since the default is a penny. But maybe there's a really esoteric word that you want to see people come up with definitions. Maybe your teenager is using slang that you don't understand and you can't figure it out on your own, so you'll put a bounty on it and have other people define it for you. Maybe you put $1,000 bounty so Steve Martin can pronounce and define the name King Tut and sing his song on it. Who knows? There's lots of reasons why you would want to put a bounty on it. For us at SLictionary, we could put bounties on words to get definitions, more definitions onto the site. Um, that's definitely a strong use case for us to use it. So anyway, that is about it for the Slictionary tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it has piqued your interest in Slictionary and this kind of really new type of online dictionary. And so come and check it out. Thanks.